You are tired of average. You want more out of life. You know you're capable of something greater. This show will help you become resilient in your home, at work, and in your community. Welcome to the Resilient Humans Podcast with your host, Kevin Wood. We are live.
We're live and on time, a minute early, both of us. And I took a sip of coffee, and he commented on it, and I said, "Oh yes, I've got a pot of it over there, in a $35 Mr. Coffee machine, Dunkin' Donuts. That's how I roll." And then Kevin said something, everybody, extraordinary. He's 44 years old. He said, "I've never had a sip of coffee."
Accurate.
What did I do when you said that?
You took a deep breath because you tried to think of anybody in your life that you've known that has never had coffee before.
I can't think of one person who's never at least had a sip. He's never had a sip. Have you ever smelled a bean?
So coffee to me is just burnt beans. And who would want that? That doesn't make any sense. You just put water through burnt beans and then you enjoy it? That doesn't sound
okay.
pleasant.
This is where we were going. We were going into the why. We were absolutely. I was marinating on the what, and then of course I was going to ask, well, why? Okay. So it's a bunch of crushed, burnt beans. You know, said like with hot water drizzled through it. You know, presented like that. Not that appealing. You don't like the smell?
No. It just smells like you burned some vegetation and now you're going to drink it.
Vegetation, fucking burnt vegetation water. Wow. I don't like to do anything before I have my burnt vegetation water in the morning.
That's why people put sugar in it.
Want to go grab some burnt vegetation water with me and ketchup?
I'd rather have ketchup than burnt vegetation.
You know, that's burnt vegetation too.
True.
Is it? How many podcasts is this for us? Is it 5 or 6?
Number 5.
This is 5.
That was supposed to be my intro, and then we ended up in this coffee rant. 5 appearances on one podcast isn't an accident.
No.
In previous conversations, we've talked about language, breath, simplicity, the difference between evolution and revolution.
Good topic.
And it is my hope and intention that we go deeper today. I have a few grand slam questions lined up. But as always, we're going to see where it goes.
Yep. This is my 461st podcast. And this is the most I've been on any other show. I've been on Chasing Excellence 4 times, and your show's the winning with the most visitations.
Why?
I like coming on the show. I like talking to you. It's easy we just decided to, really. I mean, I was thinking about why. There's 2 main things. We share similar interests, and we simply decided to do that. Let's rock a show every 6 months. I mean,
I feel like our conversations just flow as well. There's no hidden agendas here.
No. I mean, we might talk about Barbie or Rachel Always. I mean, we almost have to now at this point. But other than that, it's just throw up some topics and riff and roll. I love those conversations. I really enjoy coming on your show.
Yeah, man. And it's always been something different. That's the neat part. There's no new, it's not like you're coming on here because you have some new buzzwords or there's this new trendy thing that you heard about and you want to get that out to the masses.
If whatever the exact opposite of someone or something is, that is me. I turn 19 years old, professionally speaking, next month, January 17th. And I've been talking about one single thing that whole time. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not. I would not be good at that. And I know people, and some of the people that I'm thinking of right now, they're always, well, not always, but there's something new that they're excited about promoting, selling. A couple of those people, not so. And a couple of them, they really do believe in the products. That's one of their superpowers is they're very curious and they go out and just in the health and wellness and biohacker space. I'm thinking of one guy in particular. If he recommends something, I trust it explicitly because he's curious. He likes to explore things, and he will only promote things that he believes in and has done a lot of research on. And I would hate doing that. I would hate doing that. I'm not that guy. I like the grind. I like being, I just want to talk about one thing. And then a bunch of other rando shit that pops up whenever you live life.
For sure. We ended our last episode booking this next one, and there was a bit of a declaration on the time of when we were going to record this. So right now this is pre-Christmas, pre-New Year's, and we were talking about why not do a chat on New Year's resolutions, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So I'd like to first start out. Do you, Mark England, set New Year's resolutions for yourself?
No, I don't.
And why don't you?
Negation knowledge, I don't have a good success record with them.
Do you think anybody does?
No, I do not. No, I don't. So it's not me, it's the product. If we want to look at that. As far as a product is concerned of New Year's resolutions, the shelf life, because it's not new months resolutions. It's not new week's resolutions. It's New Year's resolutions. So if you were reading a label on a product and it said year on there, you'd be like, wow, this is going to get me through the year. The fucking thing, those things expire in like 5 weeks.
3 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it to February.
No. I was being generous. And when I have this conversation, it was Patrick Cummings reached out to me, and they wanted to do, he and Ben wanted to do a podcast specifically on Kidlin's Law and New Year's resolutions. Specifically on Kidlin's Law, and I brought up New Year's resolutions because it does make a good point, and it's fun. I walk it back. And let's do the drill now. And everybody listening to this, if you want to have a little, social psychological test, or you want to run a test with your people, walk back resolutions. So how many, Kevin, you run a gym, you've got a podcast, you're professionally super deep into the personal professional development space. How many of you, we'll just go gym members, how many of your gym members talk about their New Year's resolutions in July?
I'd say grand total of 0.
0. How about June?
Also 0.
How about May?
0.
April?
Quite possibly 0.
March?
1.
February?
4.
4th week of January?
7.
3rd week of January?
A few more.
Yeah.
That's where it really falls off.
Yeah, that's where it falls off. I agree completely. And so I clocked that a little while ago, not a long while ago, a little while ago. And I was like, yeah, fuck those things. Who cares if they don't work? Because they expire too fast. I prefer questions. I'd prefer some, and it's also baked into the name, okay? New Year's, it implies it's going to go for the year. No, it won't. And then resolutions, as in doing it again, solve. You're solving you're trying to solve a problem again. how about we just ask them some good questions? Questions, answers push, questions pull. Like declaration. A declaration is a type of answer. I'm gonna blah 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 for the rest of the year. Cool. Okay. That's gonna lose some steam. How about we just play around with some questions? Questions are different, and they're more fun. Yeah. So Kydland's law is, in my opinion, vastly superior. Yeah, a bunch of New Year's questions than New Year's resolutions.
What would be a good question for somebody to ask?
What's the one thing I need to stop doing in order to make my 2026 amazing?
So have you heard of there's only 4 ways to change anything in your life. There's only 4 ways. It's to start doing something you've never done before, to stop doing something that you're currently doing, do more of something you're currently doing, or do less of something that you're currently doing. And that's it. Those are the 4 buckets. And so I like sitting people down and going through each one of those buckets and say, let's fill some of these things in. And then once we have all of the list written down, let's circle the one that's going to have the most impact. Then it's more of a brainstorming session. It's not like.
Yeah. That's simple too. That's simple. And then, I would be much more on board with new January resolutions, the New Year's resolutions. Let's just crush January. Let's just crush January. Let's put the 4 buckets down and play around with that for a month, because people can get their head around a month. Year's usually too much.
The maximum, There's actually a book on this. The maximum is 90 days. That's like the sweet spot.
Interesting. Yeah. I get that. There was this guy, I was talking about him yesterday. We graduated group 53, level 1, nuts. Only 47 more to go. And I was talking a little bit about my history with all this weird stuff, cool weird stuff. And I got to 8 of the 9 founders of the systems and methods that most impressed me back in the day. And I'm sure there's all kinds of cool methods and systems and stuff out there that I don't know anything about. And the one guy I didn't get to was John Kehoe from Mind Power. And I thought to bring that up because some of the students were on our graduation debrief. They were mentioning the Billy story, which is that shit-ass voice in your head. And most people never put pen to paper on it. It's quite an enlightening experience. Usually painful, then enlightening. And he called that, and I'm ranting on 90 days. That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm backing into that story, or a story about that. And he called the voice in our head the Great Trickster. And that's the best name I've ever heard for it. The Great Trickster. And he had this 90-day program, or he had something called Mind Power. And there was a 90-day challenge, and he's the founder of it. And it took him, you think it sounds easy, it ain't. 20 minutes a day, sit down and journal about things, particular prompts for 90 days. He's the founder. It took him 2 years to get to 90 days because for whatever reason he would talk himself out of it or forget or something, right? And that came into our community in Thailand in, I think it was 2010, 2009, maybe. And dude, I did 90 days of it first attempt. I was the only person in our community to finish it first time. First attempt, first time. And that shit was super hard. It doesn't sound it. A couple of times, because life happens. And man, if you don't get something like that done in the morning, the day takes over, your mental real estate goes down. And more than once, if I was counting, I'd say 3 times I woke up, or not woke up, I was drifting off to sleep.
You're like, oh shit, I didn't do it yet.
Oh shit. And that's the last thing I felt like doing, was getting up out of bed at 11:10 p.m. and writing for 20 minutes. I did it though. And so, yeah, I'm right there. If he had said 6 months of my, I don't know, man, 90 days though. Yep.
It has to be scary enough. And that's part of the other, I call it annual planning, but really we break it down into those 90-day chunks. And at the very end, I do what's called a fear audit. And it has to be scary. If it's easy, if it's just like, oh yeah, no problem. Well, let's put a little fear into that. Like what would make it scary for you? And then the eyes get a little wider and they start paying more attention to it. So when you say, 90 days of journaling, there's a little bit of fear in that. There's like, oh, I'm not sure. There's a little bit of like, could I be successful? Like there's some curiosity in there too. So yeah, we always do a fear audit with our clients, and it's an interesting light to put on the annual planning aspect.
A fear audit. That's cool.
Does it scare you enough? It needs to scare you enough.
Scare you enough to not do it, or to do it?
To do it.
To do it. Okay. Kind of like a Japanese misogi.
Well, yeah, kind of like that. But if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So it has to be different, and it has to change. Change elicits change. So if you don't change anything, nothing's going to be different.
Yeah.
And so that change needs to have a little bit of fear and scaring in it.
I could see an angle working. What's the most scary thing about not doing it?
Yeah.
Because that would, like, if they got clear about it,
yeah,
would elicit some fear. I can't keep living like this. Take out the can't and put in can. I can keep living like this. What happens if you keep living like this? And then, fuck, that happens. Is that scary? Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yep.
So you're scared if you do, scared if you don't.
I remember listening to, I think it was Ben Bergeron was talking about this one year, about the scariest thing as a business owner is to be at the same place you were at this time last year. That's scary. So always be growing, always evolve. If you keep staying the same, you're going to be left behind. And that's why I believe that our gym has been around for almost 18 years. That's so why cool, you've been in your professional space for 19 years. You can't, nothing stays the same. You've evolved. And I've noticed your podcast volume has gone up since you started. The social media gains that you've been doing have been next level. Like the stuff that you guys are pumping out now,
thank you,
is awesome. And it wasn't like that 10 years ago.
It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't anything 10 years ago. And right. Shit, 5 years ago, it was a circus. Yeah, I was the tech was there. I had to catch up to it. Still am. I always will be.
And that's like you have to face fear in order to get to that next level. You can't just keep doing the same shit that you've always done. And people listening have to realize that same thing. If you're stuck in that victim mentality loop, it's because you're doing the same shit you've always done. And you're using the same words that you've always been using.
You read my mind.
It's a loop. It's a negative identity loop, and you're stuck in it because you're using the same shitty words. And I have somebody in mind, and I hope you're listening to this. You told me that I hope that someday I feel better. you're trapped. You just fucked yourself. You fucked yourself by saying that.
Hard and long. Yeah. 2 stories. Got to get down to the word level, folks. If you want to make doing the thing easier. I was at a training recently. It was a couple weeks ago down in Florida, and some things in my personal life have, and I'm thrilled about it, have evolved into. So I'm on staff for a firearms training team now. I'm one of their coaches. Cool. And so in the introduction to this first of 2 trainings, 3-day trainings we were doing down in Florida, this woman said, I need to work on my mindset. I'm really hard on myself. And I said, cool. And I didn't expect her to get the answer, which she didn't. She tried, though. I go, so you're really hard on yourself? She goes, yeah, I'm really hard on myself. I go, how are you really hard on yourself? And she thought about it for a second. She goes, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I go, I believe you. How? How do you put a lot of pressure on yourself? And she just had a blank stare. And then I go, fair enough. It's a little bit of a setup. What words do you use? Are you using when you are putting that pressure on yourself? When you're being hard on yourself, what words are going through your head? And she goes, I've never thought about it before. And I said, let's make it even better. How about you write about it now? And she had a pen, and I said, I dare you. Write down the 5 sentences that show up the most, that create that pressure, that facilitate you being hard on yourself. And I turned to the group, I said, listen, this is how you're hard on yourself. This is how you get in your own way. This is how you talk yourself out. There are certain words that you're using. And then this other guy was like, man, I shouldn't be here. Everybody's such a better shooter than me. I really didn't want to come here. And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, guess what? You got here. And his ass is in that seat. He couldn't deny it. And then I go, what words did you use to get here? And he had to think about it. And he came up with 3 sentences. Fuck it was the first sentence. I want to learn. I want to learn. Let's go have some fun. So in all of there's a lot of sentences that he was saying, or he was observing. That's an interesting point too. I was in a workshop once, and a guy goes, I have all these negative thoughts, and I go, write that sentence down, and he did. And I go, how does that make you feel? Well, overwhelmed and like a victim. Have, very passive. And I said, scratch out have and put in observe. And he physically moved back a little bit and looked up. And he goes, huh. And I go, huh, what? And he goes, well, that means I don't have to believe those thoughts in my head. I can just observe them. I said, you're right. There's no law that says you have to believe the thoughts that show up in your head. It's way easier to say I observe negative thoughts than I have negative thoughts. So there's one thing. Kevin's right. What words get down to the word level, and then sometimes you got to get that pickaxe. You got to get the pickaxe and the shovel and the dynamite and maybe a body bag and go back into your stories and get those scary memories that are buried in your head, because that's where people keep their scary stories. Here's an example, because sometimes that's the stuff that's driving the outer shell of the piece of candy that you binge on after you raid the mini bar when you're out uh, uh, on work trips. So this guy, he hasn't even started level 1 yet. He came in, he's a fitness coach, lifestyle coach. And he signed up, he got in the community, and I'm like, hey man, and he and I got on a call, and I'm like, okay, well, based on what you're telling me, let's throw you in the deep end. And so I pointed him to two-part coaching calls, one-on-one coaching calls. Nina 1 and 2 and Will 1 and 2. They're hardcore. And that's where I started him. And so he watched those, and he sent me a message yesterday morning. He said, I watched those, and I learned a lot, and I had a client that I've been working with for 6 months on mainly lifestyle, a little bit of movement and stuff like that. And he goes, one of this guy's biggest problems, is that when he goes out on work trips, okay, he will raid the minibar and then hoof his drunk ass down to 7-Eleven and buy a bunch of Skittles and Twizzlers and Reese's peanut butter cups and Snickers bars and binge right before he goes to bed. And then how do you think he wakes up feeling?
Not like he drank a bunch of coffee.
No.
He feels
No, it probably feels like he's dying. And so if his New Year's resolution was, hey, I'm going to stop raiding the mini bar when I'm out on work trips and binging on 7-Eleven candy in 2026, he might not be looking in the right place, because he wasn't looking in the right place. His coach wasn't, because he didn't have the tools. He didn't have the framework. He didn't have the question. So he gets on the call with this guy. It was 2 days ago, and the guy had done the exact same thing, because when he goes out on these work trips, he gets all nervous and self-conscious and stuff. And so he goes, okay, well, he'll tell me in detail about you raiding the minibar and then 7-Eleven candying. And he did. And he asked him, he goes, well, let's just see if this Enlifted stuff works. And so he asked him, well, what are you feeling right now? And the guy's like, oh my God, I got this just massive weight on my chest. 10's high, 1's low, it's a 10. When was the first time you ever felt that feeling? And the guy, his eyes got all wide, and he goes, the first time I was 10 years old. And he asked him, when was the first time you ever felt that lump crushing weight in your chest, 10 out of 10? And the guy goes, his eyes got a little bit wide, and he goes, that takes me back to when I was 10 years old, and I knew for the first time that I was gay. And he had gone into his sister's room and started putting on her jewelry and put a necklace on, a girl's necklace, and took everything else off but forgot he had that necklace on. And then he went to school, and another one of the boys saw it and started just roasted him. Okay. And it was a very traumatic memory for him. And that was, so he was scared of being seen, fear of not being good enough, atelophobia, socophobia. And so when he would go out on these work trips, it would remind him of that roasting, and he didn't like that feeling. So he's going to cover it up. Step 1, minibar. Step 2, 7-Eleven candy. Sometimes you got to go behind the thing, under the thing, before the thing. And that's another reason why New Year's resolutions don't work too well, because they're usually very surface level.
Yep. You haven't asked why enough. And that, I liked what you said earlier about you asked the right question. How
Yep.
do you talk yourself out of it, or how do you do this, as opposed to why do you do this? There can be 1,000 different reasons why, but it's very specific on how you do it. And when you do it that way, and this is great for the coaches, it's asking the right questions. You can get into the whys all you want, but until you start talking about the how, that's more practical. And that's where you're going to get the best results from people is, again, by asking the right questions.
Yeah. Why am I so insecure? Versus how am I so insecure? Completely different universes. And most coaches, please listen to this. And if you've got children, guess what? You're a coach. So let's back up. Where does the word coach come from?
I've heard this before.
Yeah. Where does the word coach come from? You know where it comes from, everybody? Stagecoach. You're taking someone from where they are to where they want to go. A stagecoach, you don't get on a stagecoach and the stagecoach takes you where it wants you to go. Okay? It takes you where you want to go. So they've been there, or they know where they're going, and you're telling them the coordinates. It's like somebody wants to learn jiu-jitsu. They're there to learn jiu-jitsu. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? I'm going to teach you jiu-jitsu. Great. That's where the word coach comes from. And it's a lot easier. The coaching space is it's in its infancy still. Mm-hmm. I think that, I see that, I mean that. And a massive leap in evolution of coaching, and something that you can implement right now. It'll take you from Luke Skywalker to Obi-Wan Kenobi, just like that. Going from answers to questions. Answers push. I've been saying this for years. Answers push, questions pull. Answers I tell them, questions they tell them. Which do you think's more powerful? Oh, and by the way, there's a big problem with answers coaching. It creates imbalance in the coaching dynamic right off the bat. I'm the coach. I know all the right answers. I know more about you than you do. Okay, so I need you to agree with me. Otherwise, what are you paying me for? And since I've got all the right answers, I'm just waiting to tell you, which means I'm probably, negation acknowledged, not listening very well. Mechanically speaking, if I'm not listening very well and I'm waiting to say the most perfect inspirational quote off Instagram, then my breath is trapped in my chest. So I'm not observing. And then that doesn't work. All 1-800 I got the right answers for your life hotline coaches. That's about as cool as New Year's resolutions. It doesn't work. And then guess what happens? The transformation that your client is paying you for doesn't happen, or at least in the way that you would like it and the way they would like it. And so then what happens? The imposter syndrome shows up. Oh, and by the way, it gets even worse, because if I've got all the right answers for your life, then my beautiful, incredible, perfect life must reflect the fact that I've got all the right answers for you. Because if I got all the right answers for you, then I must have all the right answers for me. It's so fucked. And I'm not talking about the intent. The intent is clean. The coaches want to help. They got it backwards. Hell on coaching earth is thinking that you have to have all the right answers. Heaven is realizing that you don't have to. And real wisdom in the space, real wisdom, I don't use that word very often. Real wisdom in the coaching space is not wanting to have all the right answers. I don't want to have all the right answers. If God could come down and go, here's all the right answers for all your clients for the rest of your coaching, I'd be like, nah, God, I'm good. I got questions, I got low and slow breathing, and I got a Google Doc. I just ranted.
It's a good rant.
It's a worthy rant. It's a worthy rant.
Well, it's funny because I had this as one of my questions for today, and it was more of a quote. Why do coaches believe this quote, that good coaches always have the right answer? Where did that come from? And how do we overcome that? Because it is a problem.
That's a damn good question.
It's like this myth, right? It's this myth that never dies. And, the coaches at my gym, they feel the same way. Like, if a client asks me this, I need to know the answer. It's like, no, you don't. You just have to ask more questions.
I'm going to label that. I'm going to title that the original coaching sin. The original coaching sin. And I am staring off out into the window. This is how I think about things. And I negation acknowledge, I don't think I'm going to get the answer right now. I'm going to have some hypotheses, maybe, and I'm sure you have some hypotheses. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? That is a really good question. Where did that come from? Where did that start?
I have some ideas on it.
Bro, I'm drawing blanks, man. Help me out.
I think a lot of it, and you said it in this, entitling it, The Original Coaching Sin. Where does sin come from? The Bible. And when you go to church, who is the all-knowing, all-powerful?
Oh, Jesus.
Right? Yeah, you got it.
We're going there, folks.
I'm just saying. And that's where kind of everything stems from. Because when you go to school, who knows everything? It's the teacher that's in front of the class. And I feel like coaching stems from all of that. It's you're on the pedestal. Where did that come from? Being on the pedestal. Another church thing, right?
And you know what? It's another and it could, for some, maybe a lot of people, look good on paper. The ultimate curse of being a good, and there are good, all the right answers coaches. Fill in the blank about whatever the thing is. It turns you into a guru. It turns you into a guru. Or the people that you listen to turn you into a guru. And that looks like a flavor of hell to me. I'm thinking of a couple guys in the mindset space. They're good. They're really, really, really good. All the right answers. And I've watched them coach. And I'm like, if that's what I had to do to coach, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't be good at it. Those guys are way smarter than I am. I'm just saying what I think. My below average IQ leads perfectly to me being a good questions coach. Because if I had to be smarter than all of my clients about fill in the blank, I'm not outsmarting anybody. Yeah, and I was like, man, I couldn't coach like that. I couldn't coach like they coach.
Having all the answers to me is mentally expensive.
Oh, dude, it the
costs
worst.
So much. It would be exhausting.
It's one of, and I mean, I'm glad we're staring at this, and this will be an ongoing conversation because this is there are a lot of coaches starting their practice every single day, and the majority of them are starting with that original sin. Sin means to miss the mark.
Imagine if there's a new coach listening to this and this sin gets dispelled right off the bat for them. How's that change their trajectory?
Majorly, massively.
It'd be crazy, right?
It really would, because it would increase majorly from the start the likelihood that they'll be coaching for a long time. Because you said, and you accurately said, that all the right answers coaching, that's exhausting. And it is exhausting. And it drains the emotional gas tank. It's fucking stressful. And that plays a part in how long someone coaches for. Like when you see the best coaches in the world that have been doing it for a long time, they just sit back and they're good listeners. All the right answers coaches are not good listeners. You give me someone who's got really good questions just right off the bat. Day one coaching. I'll put them up against any 20-year all the right answers coach. Right off the bat. And then I'll watch. I'll get some popcorn and I'll watch. And then if someone like yourself goes, hey, guess what? Get your breath low and slow and keep it there. So now they're breathing well and asking good questions. They're in the top 0.01% of coaches out there. And they can do that indefinitely.
You told a story. I don't know when it was. You tell a lot of stories, but one was about you went to a party and all you did was ask people questions and then just shut up and listen. And then everybody's like, wow, Mark's a great guy. I love that talking to him. Right? You didn't say anything. You just asked the question and then shut the fuck up. Right?
Dude, it's
that's coaching.
It's coaching. It's coaching. And it's also, I get to nod at my dad for this. This is he's this old hillbilly from the Appalachian Mountains of Virginia. He goes, I already know what I'm going to say. I want to know what they're going to say. Dude, yeah. Go out to a party and just get people talking about themselves and what they are into, and they'll say, oh, he's one of my favorite people to talk to, or she's one of my favorite people to talk to. And it's way more interesting to me than what I already know in I already know me. I already know my stories. And sometimes it's fun to tell a story, whether it's, especially when you're good at it and it's relevant, and then back out and let people, yeah, dude.
It's just hard when you're a CrossFitter because it's all you want to talk about.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's revisit this. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I had big time. I had the original sin.
Oh, we all did. Everybody, every coach I know. And some are still in it.
How are they doing?
They're not around.
Interesting.
That's the answer. They're not around. I was talking about that the other day. Like, we're the only gym in our area, like in the Maritimes, that has the original owner left.
Well, what is the Maritimes?
New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland.
So a large geography.
Yeah. Like all the original gyms, they've either closed or sold or, have recycled through multiple owners year over year. Why? Were they the good coaches that always have to have the answer? Or even the good business owners that have to have all the answers? I don't have all the answers. I have very few original ideas. I steal them wherever I can, and then just let's start asking some more questions. See where it takes us. I talked to Jen Brocksterman, and Jen, the Care Bear of coaches.
That woman is a force of fucking nature.
I know. So she talked to me about the 3 values that she has when working with any client, and it's kindness, honesty, and curiosity. And since that conversation, I've also adopted those, and it's such a valuable tool to have. You have to be kind to yourself. We're all going to screw up. We all have screwed up, and we will all continue to screw up for the rest of our lives. And you have to be kind to yourself and be forgiving. You have to have that gentle nature with yourself. If you're constantly shaming and guilting yourself, oh, I messed up, I'm a horrible person. No, you're a human. That's part of the human experience, is messing up and getting to continue to move forward. Being honest. People often lie to themselves. Oh, yeah, no, I eat really good. Okay, do you? What do you eat? How do you eat it?
What do you eat?
Show me.
Dude.
Right? So then we get into the honesty component. You can't lie to yourself because then you're not going to get results. And you can't lie to me because then I can't help you. I can't ask the right questions if you're not telling me the right answers. And then it's the curiosity component. If you're not curious, if you can't go into any situation and say, I wonder what happens when I turn this dial and flick this switch. Let's see what happens. Because again, I don't have all the answers. You know your body better than anybody else on this planet. I can't tell you eat this, don't eat this, because if you don't like broccoli, me saying, hey, you need to eat more broccoli, it's not going to change your outcome. It's not going to change any of your behaviors. You know what you like, you know what you dislike. Let's start there and work with that. So that's the curiosity component. And those values are such an important part of the coaching process. I don't have all the answers, but here are 3 values and principles that we can overlay our coaching experience and get better results at the end of it. So maybe Jen was a Smarty Pants coach at the start. I don't know her origin story, but I know where she is now. She's definitely not one of those Smarty Pants coaches.
The shelf life on Luke Skywalker ain't that long. Smarty Pants coaches and New Year's resolutions share the same problem. If anybody listening has any historical data on or opinions on coaching, where the original sin of coaching, and that's interesting. That I really like that name, by the way, the original sin of coaching. That was coined on this show.
Trademark it.
Trademark it. And when you've got a name for something, you've named it. It makes it easier to understand, research, unpack, discuss. It makes it way easier to discuss. Very similar to mindset.
Once you've defined it.
Yeah. It's hard to talk about a problem when you can't define the problem simply.
Well, you've done that with the mindset space. Like you and I use this as one of my keynotes in my workshops. Hey, let's look up mindset in the dictionary.
It's so fun. It's so
that's
fun.
That's not it. And it's the same thing with Greg Glassman in the way he defined fitness.
Yeah.
It's not the act of being fit. That doesn't tell you shit about fitness. You need a practical definition to it. And so it's the same thing. When you define what is the original sin, now you have parameters and we can all talk about the same thing. We're not talking about different things and arguing over things that are completely different. We're focused.
I'm looking up the definitions of mindset. I've read 143 in one sitting.
I read one. It was the definition. I don't remember which dictionary it was, but it was one's state of mind.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
That tells me everything I need to know about my mindset.
Yeah. Now I can go work on it.
Yeah.
This is from dictionary. I'll get some of the greatest hits. This is from dictionary.com. The established set of attitudes held by someone. Wow, my established set of attitudes is, I really need to work on it in 2026. Let me create a New Year's resolution. This is from Merriam-Webster. A mental attitude or inclination. That could have been the one you're talking about. Cambridge Dictionary. A person's way of thinking and their opinions.
I got a Wikipedia one here.
Let's go back and forth. Yeah.
A set of assumptions, methods, or notations held by one or more people.
Charming.
Neat.
Yeah, this is from the American Psychological Association. A state of mind that influences how people think about and then enact their goal-directed activities in ways that may systematically promote or interfere with optimal functioning. Dude, what nerd? What? I'll tell you, this is, it's, Revenge of the Nerds. They tried to tell us. They made 4 of those movies. Revenge of the Nerds, Nerds in Love, Nerds in Paradise, and Nerds the New Breed. They made 4 movies. This is nerds. These are nerds. This is someone goes, hey, fellow nerd at the American Psychological Association, go come up with a definition of mindset. Cool. I'm going to read that again. And some nerd comes up with this. A state of mind that influences how people think about and then enact their goal-directed activities in ways that may systematically promote or interfere with optimal functioning. Yeah, that's simple. That's easy. That's easy to understand. You don't need, you do need a PhD to even start to unpack that shit. Wow. Why don't we make a coded book of afflictions based upon that mindset? It's called the DSM-5. Okay, you get a copy of the DSM-5 and start thumbing through that thing and tell me what couldn't be at least improved upon with better words and better breathing. Oh, I have social anxiety disorder. Oh, you mean you're holding your breath?
You hold your breath. Yeah.
I get really nervous when people question me. I'm sure there's a phobia for that. Oh, you mean you're holding your breath? I can get. It goes on and on. That one right there is my personal favorite definition of mindset. Do you have another one?
A mental attitude or inclination. Great.
Yeah.
Cool mindset. We'll go one more, two. Let's go 2 more each. I want to grind it. I want to crush this. Mindset is defined as beliefs about the malleability of self-attitudes. That's from ScienceDirect.com. Your turn. A state of mind that influences how you think.
Dude. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody thought about that and like, that's it. We got it. Guys, stop everything. We have it.
We have it. And I'm going to make this complicated so I look smart. That's a problem. Here's from Wikipedia. Mindset refers to an established set of attitudes of a person or group concerning culture, values, philosophy, frame of reference, outlook, or disposition. Great. Perfect.
So good.
Okay. Well, let's work backwards. So if there isn't a defined definition, if there isn't a good, which there is, and since there hasn't been a single simple, and I've never, not once, and I talk to people professionally in the mindset space, other mindset coaches and things like that, and I bring this up. I've never had one person go, that doesn't make sense. Mindset is the story that you tell yourself. And I've never had one person, even pro coaches, say, I've got a better definition. I'll put the enlisted definition up against any definition out there. What if the original sin of coaching comes from a lack of clarity about what it is their work, what it is they're coaching?
There's a lot of buzzwords.
If you don't know what it is, then, well, I guess I need to be all-knowing. I don't know. I'm putting that out there, and I'm going to stare at it. This is.
There'll be a future lifted podcast on this, I'm sure.
Oh, buddy, please post this in the community. Yeah. This is an eternally valuable conversation to continue and to continue to develop. Because I can also say this right now: hearing this message will not instantly fix the original sin of coaching. It takes a while to unlearn Unlearn, which means to undo the effect of. That's what unlearn means. It means to undo the effect of. It is a process. It's a commitment to unlearn the original sin of coaching. To get out of that, I got to have all the right answers space. And so we graduated group 52 and 53. 52 on Tuesday, 53 on Wednesday. Today's Thursday. And on both of those graduation debriefs, most of the coaches mentioned them getting their heads around and understanding and benefiting from the process of going from an all the right answers coach to a really good questions coach. It's a process. It's a path. It's not going to be a light bulb moment and then you never do it again. It's a thing that has to be unwound, undone, unlearned.
Well, it's just like your stories. You don't just, it just doesn't happen. There's a process to it. And you talked about this earlier. There's the, what'd you say? It was an enlightening, but it's also painful. And I believe you need to go through that pain before you have the enlightenment. It's one, then the other.
Yeah. And
I've noticed, I've been I've assisted you on a few different level 1s and level 2s. And I've seen the pain. I've seen it. You see it come out of people's faces. It's impossible not to see it and not to experience it, including myself. And then it was after that moment, it's like, now I can see. It's like you took the veil off my head. Like now I can see. It's different. But if you don't go through that painful experience or that painful process of shedding, then it's not going to work.
At the very least, there's usually a pinch of regret and embarrassment in the process. And depending on how hardcore the smarty pants coach was, shame. It's like I've had some shameful moments in my coaching career where I preached. It didn't, for part of me, it didn't feel good. For part of me, it did. Because that's another thing. What's the shadow? The shadow of a coach. The desire to be right. The desire to be seen as elevated. The desire to be seen as all-knowing. The desire to be seen as wise. Having all the right answers is not wisdom. That is not wisdom in the coaching space. Not wanting to have the right answers is wisdom in the coaching space. And so part of me enjoyed it. It was an immature part of me, for damn sure. And is that part of me completely extinguished? No, it's a fucking very small voice over in the corner. Will it ever go away completely? I don't know, and I don't care, because I got my hands firmly on the reins of questions and breath. And that's enough.
It's funny when I think about this and practically how I use that in my business. When people come in and they want to join the gym, we don't tell them anything about our gym. We don't tell them how long we've been around. We don't tell them about our equipment and how, I have all these certifications on the wall. None of it. We sit down and I have a series of questions that I ask them about them, because I want to know if we're going to be a good fit for them. And if the answer is no, that's okay. There are so many other options out there for them, and I'm happy to guide them to those options because it's whatever works well for them. I want to see people improve, be better, change, and we're not the answer to everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of coaches don't think that way. It's like there's this hoarding mentality. There's a limited amount of people, and I need to have all of them in my space. Well, if you're in that scarcity mindset that there's not enough to go around, you're going to burn yourself out. It's again, I think it's part of that original sin again.
Take out that think, buddy. It is. There's so much to this conversation. This is the most thorough discussion I've had to date on what we now have a name for.
Well, I'm pleased to be a part of it.
My pleasure. And that also is indicative of the reps. This is discussion number 5.
Yep.
And you and I have spent a lot of time in the classroom, in the Enlifted Dojo, in a variety of different dynamics. So, like I said, when, you asked me why I like coming on this show, because this happens.
There's always something to learn.
Dude, for sure.
There's a guy on Instagram. He goes around different places in Canada, and he's like, his name's like Leroy or something. And he's like, goes to this place.
White guy, white dude.
Oh yeah. He's always wearing like a beanie hat or whatever. And, he points at something like there's a light post in the middle of the road, and he goes, check this out in Saskatchewan. Well, there's always something to do. There's always something to learn.
Then that's the second white guy I've ever heard of named Leroy.
Yeah.
There aren't many. I met the first Leroy, the first white Leroy I ever met was an inspiration, and is an inspiration to me. I met him down in Palm Bay at a firearms training last year, and Leroy is mid-60s, and it's in September down there. It's hot as shit, hot as hell, and you're in the Everglades, and you're basically walking through Brunswick stew. The amount of humidity down there. I didn't say New Brunswick stew. I said Brunswick stew. There's a difference.
You got some good stew.
Do you? I'm unconvinced on mayonnaise or butter for lobster sandwiches. Do you guys have that conversation up there? It's definitely a Maine conversation.
Ooh, that is a good question. I've had both.
I'm so green there.
I don't know. I guess it all depends on how big the lobster chunks are. That would be a factor.
Again, Patrick Cummings, we went up there and did a workshop at CrossFit New England, and Ben Bergeron was in the audience, taking notes. Man, that was flattering, and he took us out for lobster sandwiches, and I got the butter. And I didn't eat it right away. You got to eat it while it's hot. And then I didn't have the mayonnaise. So I just it was very poor showing, poor entrance for me into that conversation. Anyway, Leroy used to ride bikes, motorcycles. And he got T-boned, lost a leg at the hip. And so Leroy, 65-year-old white guy, addicted to vapes, out there in the heat with a metal leg, swinging that thing around, running drills, and I'm like, dude, you're the coolest and the only up until because I haven't met the Saskatchewan, so there's something to do. Oh, right, and then I'm working on my French Canadian impersonation, which I'd like to share on this podcast for scrutiny. I want to be scrutinized. So Leroy, we were, okay. How do I keep this private? I'm going to keep it off of air. I'll send you a voicemail about the story, including my, because you'll understand why. Sorry, folks. I've been on many missions.
No, that's French. You're not doing it. You're not doing the Canadian part.
No.
That's totally France.
But the guy was from Ontario.
No, nobody's in French in Ontario. That doesn't make any sense.
Ontario, no, or what?
There's Quebec.
It's what's the main town above Quebec? Montreal.
That's in Quebec. There's Ottawa.
He's from Ottawa.
Okay, they have some French. Yeah, it's only because it's on the border of Quebec. It's Hull and Ottawa anyway. Yeah.
I didn't know there was another time zone Eastern time zone.
Yes, we've talked about this multiple times.
I know. I mean, I know now. I didn't know then.
And there's even another one.
Really?
The
Like
Newfoundland
Greenland?
time zone. They're a half hour ahead of us.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know there were half hours segments.
They're the only one. Only one in the world. It's a half hour difference.
Really?
Yep. All right. Mark, we're going on an hour.
What is Barbie Fagan doing? What is Barbie Fagan doing right now? Now, and actually because I thought about this last time. On the last podcast, we asked, what is Barbie Fagan doing right now? And you said, well, it's going to be in the future when she listens to this. And then actually there's two parts to that. What is she doing right now while we're recording this? And what is she going to be doing right now when she's listening to this? I think she's putting on her shoe, like right now. What's the date? Is it the
Thursday, 18th?
The 18th at 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think she's putting on hiking shoes and is about to hike a 14er. What is she going to be doing when she's listening to this? She's going to be driving.
That's probably true for a lot of people listening, or cooking.
What about Rachel Always? What is she doing?
Oh boy, what isn't she doing? She's taken on new ventures in her professional career. So she hired me to train her to pass the PAIR test, which is a physical activeness readiness exam, to become a oceans and fisheries officer. And we crushed it.
Of course she did. Of course you did. And what do oceans and fisheries officers do?
It's a good question. Something you'd have to ask Rachel.
Is she busting Chinese boats out there?
Boats, maybe. Yeah.
Trolling, illegally trolling.
I mean, there's like local stuff, I'm sure. And then it goes out to the waters in the ocean and everything in between. So making sure everything's on the up and up, I guess, when it comes to making sure that you're fishing the right fish and tagging them properly and all that shit. So
I'm going to sleep better knowing that there's somebody like her on the Oceans and Fisheries Officer Department.
Yeah. I guess they get like a gun and stuff too. So
that's what I was about to ask. Is she strapped?
Yep. One of the perks.
I believe in responsible armed citizens.
Yeah. All right. I got a wrap up question for you.
Good.
And this is kind of going to put everything in a bow. If someone listening here could write only one sentence going into the new year, and I want to make sure that we highlight this, not a goal and not a resolution, what should that sentence do for them?
Help them focus on what's important to them.
What question could you ask or they ask themselves to help give them clarity on that question?
What's the number one most important thing in my life right now?
Perfect. What's that answer for you?
Enlifted.
Moment? Yeah.
Enlifted.
And is that a personal and professional answer?
Massively, big time. They're at this stage of the game, they're one and the same.
Was it always like that?
To a degree, yes. But it has grown and evolved. I mean, I derive so much enjoyment and meaning from doing this work. I can only see myself. I almost went in the negation direction. I can only see myself doing this work. And that's why I got brought on the the Haley Strategic Partners coaching staff. It's not because of my shooting skills, which are better than average. It's because of this work. And it's baked into their ethos and culture. And we're just moving that forward. Yeah, we got a very cool collab coming out with, I'll send you the extended cut. It's called Warrior Zero. We're bringing this work and Travis's work when it comes to developing the mindset of a warrior to the shooting space. Responsible armed citizens, first responders, firefighters, EMS, police, military, former military. Yeah, we roll that out. We deliver the first online training February 10th, and we'll turn the lights on the marketing in the first week of January. They have 1 million people on their email list.
Beautiful. It's a day before my birthday.
Nice. Yeah. So when I get off this, when we wrap, I'll send you the story that includes my French Canadian impersonation and the extended cut for the promotional video for Warrior Zero. Yeah. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Mark, always a pleasure having you on.
Always, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Can't wait to see where the original coaching scene, how this develops. Because I'm definitely going to be noodling on that as well. It's such a good topic. I mean,
we got each other's phone numbers. Let's go back and forth, and let's do number 6 in Q2, and we will share our insights on top of whatever else we talk about.
Excellent. Right on. Thanks again for coming on. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest episodes, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.